I found you.
Greetings. Okay, well, meeting doesn't start until 8, so I open it up a little bit early to give people a chance to roll in. We generally don't start with too many people, and too many people wanting to listen to this stuff. So
I don't know why. I don't know why, dude. I really appreciate
okay by me.
I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. Your research.
Well, all I know, Bobby, is that despite my research, I got some experience under my belt in active, what I'll call active duty of putting forth my word of I'm not going to sign anymore. I know there's a different way to do it. They use it. They don't have to put a signature on. And not only that, but even by their own discretion, their own laws, it tells us that if you're giving an unauthorized or an authorized signature on the instrument as an unambiguous authorized representative, then you're not liable for the person named in the instrument. Then why is there a need to sign anything? If anybody who is signing as an authorized representative is not liable, then what is the need for a signature?
That's another impossibility. That's crazy. Never thought about it like that. Actually,
I don't see how people don't comprehend this. And I've been spewing this one thing for years. Even if you give a signature UCC 1-308, there's a recourse. All contracts come without recourse. You can't enforce them. The whole world operates on contracts, yet we have a police force that is employed for nothing but contracts. It's just befuddling.
That's insane, isn't it? It's insane to even think about. It's a hard concept to break. I guess not to break, but I don't know what the word for is. Just
to realize.
Yeah, to cognize.
Realize with your real eyes.
Right.
I just had to make sure the dog didn't step out.
What's up, Chief?
Hey, how you doing, brothers and sisters? And before we get this started here at 8 o'clock, welcome everybody. Greetings, Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. For the first 5 videos, we basically went over the Constitution of the UPU and how it's set up in regards to being able to ratify it and give it back to them under what somebody described in the other never-ending Zoom as a bill of peace. And basically that's what it is. We're going to work with the treaties and constitutions and codes and everything that are already in place, just simply by adopting them, ratifying them, and giving them back. So if you're going to give a signature, it would be in that capacity. And even in that capacity, you still have the ability to give a seal. See, back in the days of the kings, when they sent forth their entourage, their court from one place to another, before there was a postal system, they didn't have a requirement of a signature or anything. They used a seal, a wax seal on a scroll. And that's basically what we want to get back to, is the origins of a form that is more definitive to what is actually true. Today, it's more in the language that we use on the documents that we're going to be adopting. So let me drop this link in the chat section so everybody can pull this up.
Is it the Constitution, Keith?
Oh, this is the page I've got up right now.
Okay. I put the Constitution of the UPU in my Google Drive in there for you. Or for everybody.
And then this is the United Nations Treaty Collection. If we comprehend what the United Nations is, It's a collection of the various different nations around the world that are in an agreement with a tariff system through the IMF and various different banking organizations. So we're going to start looking through the treaty collections. And I want you to know I have not looked through these myself yet. This is just something I know we're going to be interested in. And so we're going to do a quick read through this and check out a couple links here. But the main treaty that we're going to concern ourselves with is the Treaty of Bern, because that's where it's the UPU is set up in Bern. And then, of course, you've got The Hague in the Netherlands, and then the IMF, UNN, all set up over there in New York. So basically what we're talking about with the United Nations Treaty Collection is that we've got various different countries that have their own little treaty programs. Here in the United States, we have the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. Well, you can use that on an internal basis as a corporation operating in the United States if you want to, for tax purposes. Again, the harmonized tariff acts. The difference is that if you're operating on the international level under a contract on the international sale of goods through a trade agreement, you set up your own trade agreement. You can set up your own peace treaty with each country, just like NAFTA. Or you can just revert to the original peace treaty of Bern. So first thing we think about when we see this, depository of treaties. Do we think about banking when we think about depositories? What are depositories when we're talking about treaties? We're talking about money or words, terms, and conditions. And this is what I'm talking about. All your bank, coin your words or purse your lips. Because all your banks stem from an original document somewhere. And this is what we're going to create through that irrevocable letter of credit through the post office and the Swiss Confederation Federal Chancellor. So when we look in here, it says Secretary General of the United Nations is the depository of more than 560 multilateral agreements, which cover a broad range of subject matters such as human rights, disarmament, and protection of the environment. And these are the three main elements that we're concerned with in all of our peace treaties. First one is of the environment. This is in regards to redemption of the land so we can replenish the Mother Earth as we've been instructed through the scriptures. Status of the treaties deposited with the Secretary General. Depository notifications. See, this is what we're going to do is we're going to get certified true copies of these documents. We're going to ratify them by putting our own line item vetoes and then overriding them our own private terms. So that's the very first step in this process in depositing our instruments or our negotiations into the treaty's platform or forum. Recent developments, it's the latest depository notifications, and what they're doing here is they're showing you different accessions and acceptances.
This teacher hasn't had a Zoom in a while, so.
If somebody's got their mute or their mic open, please mute. Unless you got a question, feel free to ask.
Sorry. Oh, shoot.
And as you go through, and we're not going to go through this all together today. This is something I want everybody to go through because, like I said, I haven't. But this is going to be the general structure of what we're looking for. And like I explained in the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union, it's basically going to be a simple acceptance of those three documents and line item through putting our value in it. We're going to eventually want to go over Senate Document 43 in regards to the standard weights and measures of their gold value system, so we can incorporate that, because that's the main significance in regards to freedom of transit and your franking privilege and operating in a commercial realm with something as a substance to back it up. In a commercial realm, you have to have some kind of substance back it up. In the free trade realm, where we're talking about it's the man's word is the substance. So when talking about persons, you've got to have a physical, material, carnal substance to support that person. Whereas in your real world, you need the spiritual substance to coin the words appropriately. So basically, this is going to show you the latest depository notifications of what we're wanting to do ourselves is adopting these or accepting these Constitution, the Customs Code, the treaties, and then ratifying them by giving them the line item vetoes, fixing them, and then the accession process. We're not necessarily, when we talk about accession, what it is they give us an offer by placing this stuff on the public platform. And anybody that can read it and say, okay, I want to be part of this. And we've been induced that we're already part of it through some kind of citizenship. We have a greater ability to be a greater part of it and thereby direct it in a greater fashion from the upper levels ourselves. By acceding to these documents, doing the ratifications, and then giving them back. And what happens is, like I said, it's all a contract. Everything is offer and acceptance. So they offered it, we accept it by putting our conditions on it through the line item vetoes and overriding it. Now they have a duty to accept it. If they don't, after somebody has improved a document, does it not make reason and logical sense to go ahead and accept it back for the improvement? Now, if they degraded it, and they even have laws about mutilation and defamation and stuff. So if we degrade the document, then they don't have to accept it. But if we improve the document, they have a standard duty to accept it. So if they don't accept it, then that's right on the face of it, dishonor. So we always come with honor, with the ability to correct what's in it for our own private superiority. And we have to recognize that to defeat opponent without fighting is of supreme excellence. So we're going to go right above the law of land warfare and the Libra Code. And we're going to be that postmaster, post-marshal. So I mentioned it in the never ending Zoom earlier.
Mm-hmm.
See,
May I ask a question, Keith?
Yes.
What you're saying is like really exceptional, and I completely agree. I think it's the highest level of wisdom and knowledge that we can possibly do is to correct records. I'm wondering, since it's all connected, can we go in and start to correct the policies of these hospitals and these clinics and all this other garbage that they're putting out? Because I don't agree with the policies that they have written at these agencies, and I want to
certainly.
correct the record.
And the thing that we do is we use that Nuremberg trials, the verdict handed down in the sentencing phase said that they issued 10 points, and the very first one says that the consent of the voluntary human subject is absolutely essential. And what we do know is that they are either practicing, that's synonymous with experiment, which is what the Nuremberg codes are all about. And so they're practicing commerce, practicing medicine, or practicing law, or practicing politics, or practicing religion. They're practicing, and I'm not here to destroy their practice. I'm here to fulfill the law. That's it. Fulfilling the law is to perfect the record. Everybody wants to perfect the security instrument. No, that security instrument means shit if the record's wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I know exactly what you mean.
Again, another thing that I tried to point out to Patrick Devine and all of you people here, I'm not trying to destroy anything. When they talk about the 1099s and the accepted for values, I do that shit myself right on the documents they send me. I put right on there the accepted for value in that kind of language, but it's using biblical scripture. It's the same process, biblical scripture.
So we would be doing a fair exchange, words to words with all parties for a meeting of the minds.
Right. You see how here in the screen it says acceptance. This is the acceptance. And then we're going to give them notice of our acceptance. We're going to ratify the document, and then we're going to accede.
Wow.
Because now when they get it, they're the ones acceding to our higher words. They admit that the document has been approved, and now they accede to our jurisdiction in peace. They agree. Great. And what happens is now that's a private document. That's our own private law of the case. And now we can start moving forward in setting up that master trust account and switch the birth certificate out for a land stewardship certificate. Pure and simple. Now we've closed the one account in the name, and we've opened it up in a certificate number that is under full faith and credit. A complete drawback account, and it's done under the environmental protection laws and conservation codes.
So it's pulled totally. So the full faith and credit is pulled out of the bankruptcy that it's caught up back into the West land, if we want to call it that. Is there? I've had a question for people, but I haven't been able to ask it. Is there? It seems like there's a difference between Department or Treasury Department and the Department of Treasury. Are those two different things, or are people just getting that confused?
It's the Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. It's two offices in one. And when we talk about Treasury or Treasury Department, we're talking about the Treasury, which is IMF.
Okay, I've got to send you.
Language.
I've got to send you a link to where someone shared it. And I can't. JW shared it that Trump merged the Federal Reserve and the Department of Treasury. That's why I asked that, because
Right.
I didn't see how you could do that if the American Republic had a Treasury or had a Treasury Department, or was the Department of Treasury a service provider like the post office has a service provider? You see what I mean?
Post office is the service provider on the international forum for the customs clearance, for being able to transfer all the internal securities, and they're doing it through the harmonized taxes.
I'll have
So
to give that. I'll have to give that some thought. I was following you on the other stuff. I think
if you beat everything on the security side by making sure that it has to clear first, in other words, validation of debt,
Yeah.
they can't issue a debt. It's impossible, particularly if you've got that set up already.
that makes sense to me. I actually found when you sent that link, I found a treaty handbook. Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay, I went ahead and put it in the chat too.
Thank you. And then every treaty and every international agreement entered into by any member of the United Nations shall as soon as possible be registered with the Secretariat and published by it. This is their problem. When we enter our private discretions, now it's no longer registered. It's merely an agreement, and it remains an agreement on the private side. And they leave their public offering up for people to go ahead and amend it according to their own needs. This is why it's a one at a time thing. Each one of us steps up and agrees to this. And then we, having upon adopted it, now it becomes part of our private trust. And we pass that on to our assigns and successors, trustees and beneficiaries.
I like it.
And through this, we adopt the mission statement of the Library of Congress through the Hatha Trust. That basically does two things, giving us a library card. By adopting that trust, we now have access to that information, all of it, without charge, without cost. Yeah. So
Oh my
Wow.
God, this is beautiful.
Excuse me. I missed a whole lot of stuff, and I'm sorry I come in the room late. If y'all excuse me, can y'all kind of brush me a little bit up to par real quick, please?
well, the first 5 videos, that's fine. The first 5 videos that I've done so far, we discussed the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union. And what it is the Universal Postal Union operates under a peace treaty for the International Forum. And through that peace treaty, they do harmonized taxes. for all the banking systems. Well, we have a freedom of transit that we don't have to be involved in the commercial side of things, for he is a respecter of no persons. And this is the main foundation of all peace treaties, because war is only founded in commerce.
Right.
So we're going through now the depository of treaties, because in that Universal Postal Union Constitution, they describe how to set up a simple contract in conformance with that stuff. So we're going through now, and we're gonna this here is a and I'm gonna post all these links when I get done and post the video, so they'll be available then, and everybody can go through these and read these for
So
themselves.
basically, you really can have your own post on the private side.
Exactly.
Your contract.
Right. We are
That's
learning
what I
how to be the
thought.
post marshal. Yeah, we're learning to do
Yeah,
it.
that's what remember I said earlier, I had a friend that got global immunity. Well, he told me that's the way that they went. Matter of fact, he ordered their badges online, which were brass and all of that. And he said, you want to be a
International peace.
post-marshal, not a master, because the master puts you up under commercial and marshal puts you up under private. So he's a private post-marshal, and he put tax a percu on his plates on the back of his car to keep from getting pulled over.
Correct. And what it is when you're a postmaster, like the woman said, and I appreciate that comment, because that's a very great distinction here. When you're a postmaster, I showed people the definition of mast and where I got it from. See, I'm one of those guys. I have very interesting reading material. This is called the Blue Jackets Manual, 1940. And in it, it has, this is the Navy manual. And in it, it has the definition of mast, which is actually a request. So if you're a postmaster, that is who you would go to if you needed to make a request, meaning that you would be subordinate to that postmaster. That's who you go to make your request. If you're a post marshal, you're not making requests.
Right.
You're
are the
making
one.
commands.
You're the source.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we're learning here today by showing how to use their own construct of these simple documents and just adopting them and then ratifying them by line item vetoing through the things that don't fit, and then overriding what we put in that fits for us on each individual basis as a private entity ourselves, because we each follow different religions. We each can use our own terminology. We can even each incorporate it for that commercial purpose if we want to. We don't have to, but we can. And
okay, so let me ask you this. Have you done any type of filings to put yourself into the private yet?
I have posted my own international site on the web as a .art extension and posted a private membership association public notification. And I have it's under a entirely different name. It's Keith Orland Little FBU, which stands for a faith-based union, which is clarified. I have my patent on there. I even constructed my own alphabet symbols. So I wrote my patent in my language, my alphabet first, and then I translated it into English. And so along with that new PMA name, I also have a epoch number, which was the creation time of the name. And then I have my own sigil, which is the sign or motto or logo or brand that you would.
Oh yeah, we need to chat.
Yeah, yeah. And see, it's a .art. It's a .art extension for now, which means it's not a commercial extension. It's on the international forum, so it's already recognized. Been up there almost 6 months now, and so it's automatically got international recognition in their forum, their own forum, the electronic forum.
I had talked to somebody about that, and they said they told me you can really do your own language as long as you give them the alphabet. And that's what I've been looking and doing. And then I'm also messing around with sigils too, because that's one of my things I like doing. And matter of fact, I was doing some stuff today. I took it to the printing shop and the woman's like, what is that? I said, well, I kind of like make sigils. So I need my boards done and everything. So that was like.
So you know about pinking shears and stuff?
Huh?
You know all about pinking shears and stuff?
I don't know. I might call it something else and you may call it another thing, but I know about them sigils though. And them
Yeah.
sigils, like the ones that I make, you got a grid which has numbers on it. So you come up with a saying, an affirmation, you take out all the vowels and you take out one of it's a double letters, take that out. And then you take a pencil with a ruler and you go from each one of those letters that are up under the number, like number one may have A, F, and G under it. And then that's how you make your sigil. So then you can also take the consonants you have left and you can chant.
Yes,
That puts it
baby.
out as-
Because now we're talking Hebrew because Hebrew didn't have
Right.
vowels.
Man,
Exactly.
that's so cool. I was wondering why I
Right.
dropped
So
vowels in
that's
my
what I've
stuff.
been doing today, making
Yeah.
my own sigils because each
Well, do you
each
see the
day
screen
you
before you, dear?
huh?
You see the screen before you?
Yes.
This is my site, okay? And so there's a .art extension, and I let them all know hiring an attorney proves one isn't confident right out the gate. You
Right,
already
because
have
you know
counsel.
what? You're
Ask and you
always
shall
supposed to
receive.
keep you're always supposed to keep spirituality above your head because that's what keeps them from coming after you.
Yep.
Mine
And
is called the Academy of Spiritual Exploration.
you
That's
hear
my
this, guys?
ministry.
See, I'm not
Yeah.
the only one. You need to, I urge you to please really start paying attention to me. Please give me the
Mm.
respect to explain this. Because this is important. This is the way to go, folks. I assure
And you
you.
come up with your own bylaws, your own everything.
Yep,
And that's
I've
how
got
you
my
run
own
it.
PMA set up with everything already, girl. Yeah.
Because guess what? You can make that your trust and they can't touch the church. They can't
Yep.
touch the church.
That's amazing. That's
Hallelujah.
amazing.
Yes, we will definitely connect, sister, because I don't know what your background is, but it's much deeper than most of these people I've been talking to, and we could really use your help. I'm one of the guys. I'll show you a homemade stamp later.
Hi. And
see.
that's what my friend told. The last time I talked to him, because when we first met, he told me, he said, look, he said, nobody wants to believe nothing I have to say or will talk to me. And I said, why? He said, because I'm 24. He said, I heard that the youth was supposed to learn from the elders and the elders were supposed to learn from the youth. And I told him, I said, well, I'm going to tell you what my daddy told me. He said, don't judge the messenger, get the message. I said, so
That's
what do
right.
you know? So I invited him and his girlfriend up here to my place in the Blue Ridge for 4 days. And he sit here and he told me, he said, I'm going to show you how we are supposed to be the post marshals, not masters, but marshals. And I'm going to show you how you set it up and how once you get your own post and you have your own flag for your nation, your own seal, and do your own stamp and put tax per Q on there and put tax a per Q on the back of your license plate, they cannot stop the post marshal.
And you said this man was from the Navy, correct?
No, this is another friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
He's like 24. And now the
What-
last time I seen him, he had his own brass badge and he's got global immunity. Can nobody
Wow.
touch him?
How did he
Period.
say he came across this learned information?
He
Being so
ran.
young.
See, y'all want me to tell it all.
No,
I
you
gotta
don't
tell
have
it
to.
all.
I just
Yeah, let's
I'll
slow
put it to
down.
you
Yeah,
like
let's slow
this.
down and let's finish up with this here, guys.
okay. Yeah.
We'll talk about that some other times because we don't want to go too fast on this. We really don't.
Right.
Yeah, because this is the process and you got to make sure you know it.
Right. And see, what we see here is when we look at this, we're talking about exchange of letters. And it says exchange of letters between the government of New Zealand and the government of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. And that's what we're doing. We're just exchanging letters. We got to exchange letters first. This is the initiation of the contract to begin with. So then we
So you're
got,
contracting straight through to the UPU, right?
yes, we're going to go through the
Right.
federal chancellor of the Swiss Confederation, the director general of the International Bureau.
Wow.
So you ever
Wow.
heard of a guy named General Benton?
Not yet. Please tell me later, girl. Please tell me later. But let's get on with this. Now we see mutual recognition. So when we exchange letters and that exchange we have mutual recognition. Okay. This is what I'm saying about the website. I already have mutual recognition. It's already stated on the international forum.
That's the meeting of minds.
So
Yeah.
once you have it up for a while, then you're already international, well, whatever you saying
Yeah,
now.
it's established on the public domain, international public domain, the greatest international public domain we have today, which is the airwaves, which is why they have the air service agreement there in that. And that's because that's the spiritual realm. We now have the spiritual jurisdiction we can take control of.
See, I keep telling people it's the spiritual route. You got to take the
Yeah,
spiritual route, or it's
yeah.
not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't care how much paperwork you do and what you know. If you don't keep spirituality above your head, it's not going to work.
Yeah. And now the next one, now, like I said, that's a link in the chat section. And like I said, I'll pass all these links on when we get to them, when I post the video. I'm going to copy this one and post this in here. This is our next one. This is the, when somebody violates the shipping laws. See, when we're talking about mail, we're not talking about shipping anymore, because when we're talking about mail, it has been taken out of the shipping venue and entered into the mails. It is no longer in the shipping transit. It has been transitioned.
Is it shipping commerce?
It can be, but it can also be private. While it's in transit, it's still private. All the agreements are being carried from shore to shore.
Oh, it's not commerce until it's docked and gets unpacked or shipped a bill of lading.
Right. It is
Until
in
it gets
transport.
to the port. When it gets to the port, it's just
Right. And that's why it's right. The lien follows the document, and therefore the articles of goods on the ship, that's what pirates go after. They don't go after the paperwork.
Right.
Paperwork
Okay.
is where it's at. All the products, that's black market shit. When you get off the .com and stuff and get onto the .post, the black market is left behind. You have total security. This is what the cybersecurity laws are about last year.
Wow. That makes perfect sense.
And when we talk about shipping penalties and violations, it will be evaluated, assigned new HTS number and binding to all ports. This is what we're doing. We're assigning a new HTS number. We're going to close the account in the name and open up a new account under the harmonized tariff system.
Wow.
Okay.
I gotta catch up.
Well, we're
I
going to work
really
on it.
catch up. Woo!
Now, when we talk
got
about
homework.
UPU, we're talking about clearing. Like I said, we're talking about customs clearance and not securities clearance. Customs brokering and securities brokering are two different levels. One is international, private or public. One is internal and publicly controlling all privacy.
Okay, let me ask you something. Can you not be a private customs broker, or do you have to be?
Well, that's the post marshal.
Gotcha.
And on the public side, you're going to hire the postmaster as a customs broker.
See, that's what I was going to school for, but then I was having issues and my dad passed away, and that was the customs, to be a broker.
Say it again,
Then
Keith.
I was just like, I think it was because it was the public.
You're going to be the post marshal making all the commands. And the postmaster, under the surety bond of the contract he has with the UPU, you have an agreement that is greater than that on the private side. You're the post marshal, he's the postmaster, and his obligation is to carry forth the customs brokerage through clearance. Everything's got to clear first before it can broker as a securities instrument internally. Here we talk about member types. See, this is when I say when we're acceding to the document, we're not actually acceding to be a member as a commercial member. We're acceding to be a member in agreement. And the UPU clearing user group is made up of ordinary members and partner members. Members may be admitted on a provisional basis. Ordinary members, any designated operator. We're not operating in commerce. So that excludes
Right.
that one. Any non-governmental entity supplying goods or services. We're not supplying goods and services because we're not buying and selling. We're operating in free trade agreements with like associations, private member
Right.
associations.
That means
Which-
other nations.
Right.
Basically.
And so they have to go through the clearings rules. Can you
Mhm.
enforce a tax on us? No, because we're not enforcing a tax on you.
Right.
It's equal consideration, equal benefit, because we're now at equal station.
This is the part I was
Exactly.
worried about. We're part of, we're not. Okay, I get it.
Each partner member has only one vote. See, this isn't a democracy anymore.
Right.
This is a
It
federation.
levels out the playing field.
Yeah.
Right. And
Okay.
that's what you want to have a federation. That's what you want to do, a
Your,
federation.
your mic's breaking up terrible.
Interesting.
Your mic is breaking up something terrible.
And we're going to be ending here
Mine-
pretty soon, so I'm going to drop this link in here. And this is the material we want to start looking over. But before we go, I'm gonna show you Title 19 of the Code of Federal Regulations is where everything's at.
You said Title 19?
Yep, this is the Customs and Border Protection, Department of Homeland Security. You see the conveyance from customs brokering to securities brokering, and it's done through the
Mhm.
Department of Treasury.
Oh, wow.
And when I went on, when I told you about that site, that when I was going to take the class, he had me to go on, they were all on that site. And I was like, I wonder why securities is on, and all this is on here. So basically, like I said, it has a lot to do with navigating through this.
Navigation is a perfect word, because right here, the next one, if you see, this is the foreign trade zones primer, because everything internally is a foreign trade zone, and it all operates on the Inland Marine Underwriter Association. That's why I say we line item through and overwrite. We're not giving
Can you drop that link too? Can you drop that link to the foreign trade? Thank you. So is a U.S. Marshal of the American Republic then, right?
Yep.
'Cause he's a marshal.
Yep.
Okay.
But even he is under the in a station aligned with the postmaster, still internal.
Right.
All corporate. So anyway,
Keith,
we've got a
Mr.
minute and a half to go.
Very cool.
Go ahead, brother.
Keith here real quick. I'm not sure if you got it or not. You know the story. A lot of us know the story about the international radio guy who set up his DJ booth on a abandoned oil rig.
Oh yeah.
How he got
Yeah,
rid-
he's
oh,
got
yeah.
his own.
yeah.
He's a one-man nation on an abandoned oil rig. He
Now-
claimed the abandoned oil rig and captured the radio waves.
Wow.
Okay, Keith,
Smart
the
man.
UN, you're talking about the UN. United Nations was founded, quote unquote, founded in California. They have a physical address in California and a mail address in California, but the UN done the exact same thing on another abandoned rig, and that's why on an umbilical cord they survive what they survived. And you are the man and the teacher of it all. Snip the umbilical cord, you got to reverse that, right? The
Yep.
UN's still on umbilical cord, nations wide, not nationwide, nations wide. Same as that DJ on that rig.
Yep.
The UN did not come from California. They just decided to go, we'll pick a spot, we'll do this, we'll do that. They're on an
Yep.
abandoned oil rig out there somewhere too on an umbilical
right.
cord.
Well, we
That's
gotta
where
go,
they got their
folks.
power.
I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I love you all. God bless. May our
thanks.
Father in heaven be with you in every step. Have a great day.
Cool. Somebody download the chat.